Hi, good afternoon. My name is Tammy Helmuth. I'm the CEO for Girl Scouts California Central Coast, and welcome to the 2020 Volunteer Expo. I wanted to go over the service unit cookbook and dashboard with you today to try and just kind of again come back up to the leadership conversation with our service units and try and find a consistent way we can have discussions about the threats and the opportunities that face our council as we come out of COVID. Before we did that, I wanted to go over some of the outstanding items we had on the service unit retreat last year. This was on the whiteboards that were up against the wall, and the items on this listing are the ones that you wanted us to do better or to start doing. So really quick, service unit webinar access paid by council. We do have national Zoom accounts for $3 per troop, per volunteer. Anybody who wants it, it's $3. Just email info@girlscoutccc.org and they can get you set up. Turnaround on BACAs. I heard you loud and clear. I think within, what was it, probably 10 days, you saw an immediate turn on how we handled BACAs. So stay tuned as we move into more of a paperless office because of the forced pressures on consumer privacy laws and just data privacy. We're going to educate you on a new online process here at the Expo. 100% ready for events before launch and cross collaboration dates. And also down below the multi-level troop VTK views. Those are type of things we were not able to handle because of COVID, the termination, or it's a GSUSA platform. Because of COVID, the V2.0 was delayed, and we haven't really been able to see all what that brings to us, so stay tuned. Bring back Leaderama. Welcome to the first virtual volunteer expo. We have numerous peer-to-peer breakouts. We would have loved to have been at an actual event and a venue networking with you all, but again, we made the best out of the worst possible situation. So provide us feedback, and let's say if we prefer this method. Several of the leaders and volunteers has asked us if we can tape these, which is why I'm coming to you via Zoom, and put them up on GS Learn so the volunteers can look at this training as they want to, not in meeting in a person-to-person. So stay tuned, we'll see how this rolls. VTK Finance tab for Service Unit Treasurer and Camps. I do know the VTK Finance tab is being turned on. We have training coming over it to the Volunteer Expo. It is for troops though. I don't believe currently there exists a Service Unit Treasurer and Camp Finance tab, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully it's in the V2.0 upgrade that GSUSA is launching. Same thing with the calendar with draggable events. Hopefully, I haven't heard about it, but that would be a GSUSA platform. Redo camp manual, heard you loud and clear. February, we had our first ever camp, or in a long time, I should say, camp meeting with all of the leadership that runs camp. We presented our first camp manual that was reviewed by the Membership Connection Committee, approved by the board. I think that is going to be a living document as it rolls through various changes. We were going to see the results of it, but again, because of COVID, we didn't have camps last year. So we're going to give it an overhaul again, and let's take a look. Again, any changes we're more than happy to make. We need the advice, the language. We need to run it through attorneys. We need to move it to the Membership Connection Committee, and then for the board for ratification, and then not a problem. I have no problem making amendments. Emails merchandise from GSUSA. We're going to hear from Jen in one of the breakout sessions. Jen runs all of our storefronts, our retails, and I think it's really cool. We're going to hear more of her from her with regards to the older girl uniforms, and I do know that younger girl uniforms are coming out next year, so stay tuned. We'll hear more from Jen. Council put on events, earn badges. How do they take off? I hope somebody's on here that remembers what the intention of this tag was, but I don't know, so I'm totally confused. Help me out. Let me know what that's meant. You wanted us to stop applying inconsistent rules to day camps. Heard you loud and clear. Within 60 days, we started to present to the MCC the camp manual. And like I said, it's a living document. Stay tuned. We do have a presentation throughout this volunteer expo on it. And take a look at it. Let's see how it runs. Hopefully, we'll put it to test and get some positive feedback or corrective feedback. Create a task force. I think the day camp managers are our task force. I don't want to put people on that task force that really don't have boots on the ground, so to speak. And then we're hoping to have twice a year meetings. I put mandatory on there only because I hear from you. You all want to meet in that peer-to-peer networking. And also with all of the fires in our area, the COVID in our areas, we're going to have to come out with the crisis management and disaster preparedness plans. So peer-to-peer engagement, I think, is very critical. So we're looking to have another meeting in November 2020. Stay tuned with more information. What you liked us doing well is having the service unit meetings. We're going to bring in other leadership. Instead of myself, it will be Sharon, who runs the membership side of the house. She's the chief membership officer. And we just hired a CFO. Alan Bean starts at actually the same weekend as this volunteer expo. We start having our conversations with you. So don't chase them off, all right? We'll give them welcome hands. Cookie U on CLU, you liked it. We did it well. I'm sorry to say it was canceled. Looking forward to next year. It may be canceled. We'll see what goes on in the next couple months with COVID. And understanding the priority in culture and relationships. Staff retention was a significant issue. When I arrived here as a CEO, we had about 50 to 68% turnover of employees. I'd be happy to say, happy and sad, happy to say it would have been 10% turnover, 90% retention. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I did temporary furlough, and then I had to make permanent furloughs as a result of COVID and not being able to handle our normal business. And we had a 30% of our staff exit. Still better than previous years, but still breaks my heart, darn COVID, right? Let's talk about membership where we're ending our year. It's not as bad as it could be. Other councils are worse, other councils are better. We're most likely going to end the year with about a 15% membership loss. The good is that we're growing our lifetime membership. The bad is we're seeing our most significant losses come in our girl membership numbers. We're almost down 20%. Not where we wanted to be, but definitely COVID is the culprit in that number. You can see it's going to be the majority of girls. A lot of our movement with regards to adult membership is moving over to lifetime membership. It's the girls. We just can't recruit new girls. And you see it on this chart, very visible. At this time, we normally would have almost 2,800 new girls, and we only came in at 1,800 because we basically stopped recruiting in February. Retentions, we're one of the strongest in the nation with retention numbers. We are still up. You can see, again, it goes to the pointing the finger at new girl acquisition. Retention rate for adults is the same point it was pre-COVID as the previous year. It's girl retention is almost within just mediocre numbers. It's new girl acquisition. How do we fare coming into this current year that starts in just a couple weeks? Our new year starts 10/1. Normally we come into this year very strong with the renewal campaign, and we're hearing loud and clear that people are waiting to renew. Obviously, you can see total girl memberships, it's still somewhat strong, 20%, though we have to make it up. Hopefully we make it up real quick as girls come back to school. Adult memberships, that is frightening that it's that low, 23%, but I do understand adults don't have to renew while we're virtual. But we are going to have to identify that and see if we can get some of those back. Retention numbers, again, very sad, 50% retention rate. It isn't good numbers. This would be scaring me and it does scare me. It keeps me up at night. So let's talk about the state of the council and everything membership. We sat down with some GSUSA experts and my entire team, and we tried to figure out what makes a healthy council. And it really comes down to 6 things. If you do them good to great, we would be a thriving council. So we're going to be great at all of these 6 things here. And that is, we have to ask ourselves questions. Do we have a sustainable volunteer and program delivery model that drives growth? And I would say, COVID obviously takes a factor into here that we never ever considered, and it's hard to calculate and forecast. But we're going to have to deal with it anyhow. Is our program model driving higher impact for girls? Remember 2 years ago, we didn't have a program department, let alone thinking of a program model driving higher impact. So we're going to talk about that. Does our membership represent the communities we serve? No, we don't. We're definitely missing some marketplace equality on that. Do we have a sustainable financial model which ensures we have the resources to deliver on the mission? We are high. My goal is to stop the reliance on product sales as high as we are. We have about a 76% reliance on cookie and fall product sales. We need to bump up our donors and our corporate giving. That's my goal for the next 2 years. Is our board engaged in governance and resource development? We're in the top 10% of the nation. I would say yes. We're going to start leveraging our resource development. What that means is we're going to start using and engaging, I shouldn't say using, engaging our board members to help us gain access to financial resources to help diversify our revenue. I hope they don't see this video. And then, do we have the people environment that supports the mission? That has been a focus since I became CEO, and it's more important now than ever with regards to COVID, maintaining our current staff, and making sure that they provide utmost customer service to you, our volunteers. So we're going to talk about how do we measure sustainable volunteer programs. There are 3 really council health indicators, and that's them here. We're going to just go into it. I'm not going to go through these. These are our historical trends. Nothing what you want to see in this, especially into 2021. Here were the presenting issues, and I want to go through them only because this was prior to COVID. So COVID came in and disrupted these numbers. But we were looking at a 4-year period of time. We had a 14% membership loss. In 1 year, it's going to hit 15. Market share is 3.8 compared to a national average of 6.6. We have a lot of girls who want to come to Girl Scouts that are out there wanting to come to Girl Scouts. We just have to be able to market to them and invite them to come to Girl Scouts. Retention is high. We're one of the highest in the nation, so that's amazing. It's just difficult to continue having high retention if you can't bring in new girls. It's just not sustainable membership model. Let's see, that's it. You can look at these. These are all of our numbers. Now, these are the numbers that I look at with Sharon and her team. So I'm going to move this here. 2019 is where we ended. Our 2020 was our goal. It says CHA, it was a council health acceleration plan. And then we ended up as of August 19th. We are going into 2021 with just attempting to regain the losses and come back to the 2020 goal. We're going to hope that 2020 never existed and we have a whole year to bring it back. If you notice, we're going to attempt to bring back the membership up to 8956. Increase 2% renewed girl membership. Very easy to do, I think, once we get out of COVID. We're looking at a 3% new girl membership. Not difficult if we can partner up strong. And maintain the 66% retention. I think that's easily doable. We need to figure out how to handle and how to keep first year girls. We are losing 50% of them as they come in. So we do all this work. You all do all this work, bringing in the girl, and 1 out of every 2 girls leaves us in their first year. That has to be a focused area. Market share, we're going to help. We're very low on the market share. Kindergarten goal, we're missing our kindergarten marketplace. We know that if a girl comes into Girl Scouts in kindergarten and we retain her after that first year, she is most likely to continue in Girl Scouting for a period of years. That kindergarten goal is our marketplace. As you can tell, it is very low. We had 4%, 6.2% the previous year. I'm going to leave overall. VTK, increased Daisy VTK usage of 75%. Other councils swear that the success metrics for their daisies of maintaining their life in Girl Scouts is by the use of the VTK. So we're going to put a focused effort, and we hope you can support us on that. For some reason, I can't advise my slide. So what are we going to do about it? This is our action plan, and this is where we need that partnership with you. So we have completed hiring, unfortunately, and staffing alignment. We have realigned our staff because of the COVID implications. Activate volunteer systems reboot, that's that V2.0 that has been delayed. We need to talk to you, service unit leadership, about bringing in the data, how we can strategically pair K through market share, going after those kindergartens, persona data, it's consumer purchasing data, Latinx, and we have the ability to do targeted marketing with service unit specifics involved. So we're going to have some partnership conversations about that. We're also going to develop a service unit dashboard playbook planning packet with measurable service unit goals. Please do not take this as we are telling you you need to do this. We are starting the conversation of saying, hey, where do you feel comfortable? Because it's our job. It's my job. It's my job to ensure that I have a team that can recruit girls, can retain girls. I cannot just have it on the backs of service units. That would be amazing, right? To have a free workforce that works all day, all times, while you're doing everything else. It is not sustainable. But we just have to have that conversation. Service units are the backbone of the organization, but we haven't really navigated that conversation about where are you? Where do you think you're going to hit the goal? Because we have to hit these numbers. And we need to be able to have those leadership conversations of where you're at. Can we provide support? I don't want to be in competition with you. I don't want you to feel we're on competition. But those conversations have to occur. And we've created a document to start those conversations. Okay. And I'm just going to blow through these things. And we actually need to develop and implement a plan to increase DAISY VTK usage. Now, the next question is our program model drawing higher impact for girls. This question gets answered by the voice of the consumer, the Voices Count survey. So it did run this year. It was delayed. And then it also ran during the beginning of COVID as we were sheltered in our houses. So the voice of the consumer, I think, is basically possibly a little affected. I think everything is affected during that period of time. So take this into consideration with those norms. The survey that was completed during COVID had girl outcomes high in 2 of the five categories. So they were telling us we needed to demonstrate a need to focus on challenge seeking, sense of self, and healthy relationships. We're going to talk about the breakdown on these. I'm going to leave this right now. We're below some of the national averages. This is where it came through. So overall impact health, we were even with what it was the previous year. Girls have a high sense of self, which is interesting during COVID. We actually increased it from 84 to 87 points. Positive values, we went from 77 to 74, went down just a hair. And I'm sorry, sense of self actually decreased into the orange zone. We were high. Positive values decreased into the yellow zone. Challenge seeking decreased. Healthy relationships decreased. Community problem solving increased during this period of time. So that was one. I think the girls at that time were saying, hey, we're going to help fix this, but we need to create some programming around those areas that are showing signs of stress. Increased girl satisfaction, even throughout COVID, we had a 57 point base. We were trying to get to 61. They blew it out of the water by saying the girls were very happy with regards to Girl Scouting at 78. Interesting enough, on the opposite side, the NPS is a net promoter score, meaning the girls are going to be a promoter for Girl Scouts and tell all their friends. Tell them to come to Girl Scouts. We're super satisfied. We are even more happy than we were last year, but we're not going to share what Girl Scouts means to us. And we actually decreased to 35. It's a number we need to pay attention to, because girl satisfaction and net promoter score are two very interesting things. You would normally see them go up at the same time. So when one goes up and one goes down, it's something to pay attention to. Parent satisfaction went down. But again, their net promoter score, they're the opposite. They went up. Kind of a flip-flop. Volunteer net promoter score, the volunteers, we were in the red zone. Volunteers were not happy with us last year in 2019. They have actually come up from a 15 to a 48. It's one of our strongest growths. So it is nice to see that the net promoter score increased at such an alarming rate, because now they are talking about how they feel in Girl Scouts. They weren't happy with us in 2019. Now they're more so happy, 3 times more happy. But the opposite thing is their satisfaction decreased. Not much more, but they are more likely to tell their friends about Girl Scouts. Our action plan on this is to set these things, is to do some surveys, and really ask that you voice, and I hate to do this, you voice to have others participate in the voice of the customer survey. They throw so much research in it. It kind of leads our council into where we put money in programming, how we partner up with outside programmers. It does a lot, so we need to hear from many more girls. Also, here we come, implement service unit playbook to support service unit leadership with new tools and council support. Implement first year troop support strategy. We need your support on that. We need your voice. So where does this all leave us? It leads us to the service unit planning packet. We know this document was launched last year. It was launched probably a little too early because the data that we were working with, from what I understand now, it wasn't accurate. But I didn't know that we stopped using it. I thought we were still using it. So it appears that, the old adage, we threw out the baby with the bathwater, occurred because the data wasn't here. My team wasn't comfortable talking to the leadership, service unit leadership, about these numbers. It was ignored. We've got to be able to bring this back to figure out where our pressure points are. So we're going to bring it back. I ask for your support in understanding we have to, as a council, have to have some guiding document to bring 26 service units that operate as your own business, so to speak, to have some consistent questioning and metrics to figure out where we need support, who is thriving, what you're doing that is causing you to thrive, and be able to replicate it. So this is the document we're going to use. It can be modified any which way you use. These are the numbers that we're going to use. We're going to drill them down back into a service unit level. So like I said, we have consistent measurements and conversations. We are going to send this document out, the service unit planning packet, to you. It will be empty because I think we have to sit down with the goals instead of figuring out, hey, here's our current membership. We think you should do this. I think these conversations need to start with you with our goals. What do you feel you can support us in 3 of your top goals in the end of year membership 2020 to 21? We all have special assets and special talents we bring to the table. Your service unit may be retention. The next service unit is the best recruiter. Just let's see where we all land here, please, and let's start the conversations. So let us know your top 3 service unit goals. And then we're going to drill these down to what your end of year numbers were in 2020. And what do you feel, are you going to have a loss this year? Are you going to have a profit this year? You're going to move your numbers this year. Let's start laying some goals so we can start planning around you. With that is, I hope, the start to our conversation. We have an open forum following this for all things membership. And thank you very much. And I hope this presentation came off. I'm sitting here in my house talking to myself on a Zoom. And let's just get this party started. Thank you for everything that you do. Truly, I just want you to know, service units are the backbone of this organization. I know it. I hope you know I know it. And I hope you understand how much I value and treasure your conversation. So let's go. Thank you so much.